maximizing your job search through networking, okay? And also helping you find the right mentor and how you create the criteria for finding the right mentor and go through the process correctly, okay? So I want to first put the expectation on the table that like finding a mentor is your responsibility, okay? You have the tools to do it through the Gvahim network, and it's your responsibility to research and reach out to the right people and look at their profile and make sure it's actually a good fit in terms of professional experience. If you have issues contacting someone or them getting back to you, which sometimes happens, then that's where we step into the picture. Or if there really isn't somebody that you feel like you would have the right professional connection with, I can also assist with that. I had an Ole who came to me with a technical writing profile, and I'm finding a relevant mentor for him. So sometimes there are gaps in the profiles that we have, and if that exists, it's your responsibility to tell me, okay? And come to me. Okay, so before you begin your networking efforts, there are a couple of things that you should do. And I'm speaking about networking as it relates to the Gvahim support that you get. Okay. You are entitled to having a mentor. As I said, it is your responsibility to find a mentor, just like it is your responsibility to be active in your job search. So before you begin really networking and using the resources that we have available for you should complete the following three things. It's very clear. You should complete the HR consultations, all of them, all three. Okay. You should have your CV and your LinkedIn profile ready. If you're looking at two positions that are slightly different, but also similar, but require two different versions of your CV, you should have your CV versions ready. Okay. And you should also understand, and this all goes hand in hand, you should also understand the kind of roles you're looking for in the market. Okay. It can't be that it doesn't make sense that it would be you want to be a software engineer, but you also want to be a marketing manager. Okay. You really need to understand exactly what you're going for. So we can help you to the best of your ability, and also the resources that we have in terms of volunteers understand what you're looking for. The less clarity you have, the more challenging the job search will be. So there's that. So really take advantage of the HR consultation phase to kind of do the searching that you need to do and hone in on the job titles that you're going to be targeting and the fields that you're going to be targeting. With the job clarity, it's even better if you understand the companies that you're targeting. Are you targeting smaller companies? Are you looking for startups? Are you looking for large global companies? What are you looking for? This will help you understand where you're situated in the market and in terms of the support that you need from your mentor. There's a difference between looking for a position in a startup and looking for a position in a global company such as eToro. Okay, they're different, and they have a lot of different nuances, and some of the processes and the hiring pipeline can look a little bit different, or the timeline can look little bit different. So the more you know, the more that they can help you. That's the entire point here. Okay. So networking in Israel, if you're not familiar, and you've probably heard, but networking is critical. Okay. Not everyone likes networking. It's an integral part of my job. I network on a daily basis. But 60% of jobs in Israel are found through personal connections or referrals. Okay. And if it's a personal referral, it's even better. So that means like before I ask somebody for a connection, for like a referral within a company to send my CV, I would prefer to try to have a 10-minute virtual meeting with them so they know who I am, what I'm about, and the kind of professional I am. So they can actually recommend me, and it's not just I'm another person that they're referring through Chaver Mavi Chaver. That's what, this referral concept is called Chaver Mavi Chaver in Hebrew. just so you know. So even if you're uncomfortable with it, it's important that you're attending networking opportunities, okay? We provide networking opportunities on a regular basis. Okay, so there are lots of different like online groups according to field. It's something you can also ask from your HR consultant. But you can also just go on Facebook and look like Hamita Pistiot is one. You can look for your field in Israel and kind of look for some keywords. And you can find groups that are doing face-to-face meetings. There's also this website that I'll provide you with, meetup.com. And you can look for meetups that are happening in your area. Okay, a lot of meetups in Israel happen in Tel Aviv. I live in Haifa. Going to a meetup an hour away from my house is really not a big deal if I'm in a job search and it's going to get me to the next level. Okay, and this would be a critical way to be able to find those opportunities. Networking here is critical. Gvahim offers something called the Gvahim Network. Are you all on the Gvahim Network? Are you familiar with it? If you are not on the Gvahim Network, your number one thing that you need to do after this call today, what you'll do is you'll create an account using your LinkedIn. Okay, you link your LinkedIn account, it does the integration. There you'll create a network or an account and you'll have access to the Gvahim Network. So why am I saying that this is so critical? The Gvahim network has over 4,000 alumni, volunteers, mentors, employers, and HR consultants that are available for you to network with. Meaning that if I am looking for a position in Payoneer, I can go to the Gvahim network directory, type in Payoneer, see who's currently working there, ask for a meeting, and get a referral. Okay? So if you're not leveraging this, it's something, it's not doing you harm. It's just a resource that you're not fully taking advantage of that's available to you. Okay? So when you're using the Gvahim network, you should take the job search goals that you've already defined with your HR consultant through your consultations and look at the companies that you're interested in or maybe the name of the position and go through and look at the directory of the individuals that are currently in these positions or in these companies. Take that information and create an Excel to begin managing your networking process. Okay? It can be overwhelming and it's a very different way to think about things. It's just the best thing to do is really completely use this resource because these people want to help you. Okay? So in a second, I'll talk about the different types of contacts that are on the Gvahim network, and it's also outlined in those resources that I sent you via the chat and how you can approach them. So we've spoken about the directory, but to use, and soon we'll do a demo, okay? So don't feel like you need to get overwhelmed with this. So you're going to use the directory function just like you would on LinkedIn. It's the same kind of thing to look for alumni or volunteers at the companies that you're interested in, okay? If it's a very small startup, they're probably not going to be there, but larger companies most likely will be. And there you can approach them via a personal request. I'll show you how to do that. You can approach them via a personal request and ask them based on the position. You have to have a couple of things available. You have to have the position, the specific position that you're applying for available with the link. And you need to have the most updated version of your CV for that position whenever you approach them. So my approach would go something like this. Hi, Ellie. I'm pretending to be a marketing professional, okay? I'm a marketing manager. I saw that Payoneer is hiring for this position that I'm very qualified for. I'm interested in meeting you to learn about your experience working in Payoneer as a social media, I don't know, social media consultant or social media manager. In addition, would it be possible to recommend me for this position after the meeting? Here's the link for the position and here's my CV. I'm looking forward to hearing back from you. You know, sincerely, Danielle. Okay? So it's very clearly why you're approaching them, the access point for the position you're approaching, your updated CV. They have everything that they need to do there. All they need to tell you now is they can do a meeting or they're just going to pass your CV on. Okay. If you are looking for advice from veteran Olim, okay, which in our case, it means that they've been here for at least 7 years and they've worked in multiple positions in Israel. You can look for them through the buddies function. It's one of the titles for people. And you can connect with them and ask them specific questions about your field. So when should you reach out to a mentor? So the thing that I always clarify with Olim, even when they reach out to me, when Olim reach out to me and it's because a mentor hasn't gotten back to them, I know that they're serious. They provide me with the name of the mentor. I typically call them and then I hear back from them. And if they're not available, I update you. Okay. But you should only be approaching mentors when you are serious and proactive about your job search. Okay. If you're still considering, I don't know, 7 different positions and don't really know your direction, now is not the time to try to approach that with a mentor. You need to go over that in your HR consultations. That's the place to do that. The more you know about yourself, the job search process can already be kind of confusing because you're trying to navigate a new system in a different country, potentially in a different language. You don't need to complicate it by over targeting positions. Okay, you're not going to be doing yourself a favor. So you need to be proactive, you need to be dedicated, and you need to be available for communication. Meaning, if I send you an email, you don't have to get back to me within 15 minutes. That's not what I'm saying. But you need to get back to me within the next couple of hours, maximum the next day. Okay, because that's also the expectation from an HR professional to schedule a meeting. And you could be missing your opportunity to interview if you're not just available to speak. So same thing with your mentor. You need to be prepared to invest time and effort into the process. I spoke with a mentor last week about how much time she invested in assisting one of her olot that she helps find a job, and she found a job pretty quickly. Our mentor invested 10 hours in one-on-one sessions with this Ola who is a job seeker. Okay, 10 hours. That's 10 hours that the mentor is volunteering and taking from their own time to ensure that you're succeeding. Okay. And so what I'm asking you here and what I'm really telling you is that it's a time-intensive process for you and for the mentor. The more serious you are, the more you'll get out of it. And mentors don't get paid to do this. They're volunteering with us. Okay. A lot of them are Olim themselves, or maybe their parents were Olim, or they understand that the world is very difficult right now. I mean, the world is always very difficult, but especially right now. And they want to ensure that people who are coming to Israel stay because it's the future of the country. And so you showing up and investing the time, that's your responsibility. They'll provide the professional advice.
Yeah. May I ask, what did these 10 hours consist of, actually? These were online meetings,
Yes.
the conversation. What does it include? For me to
So
understand.
yeah, absolutely. Every process is very different. Okay. Mentors work differently. We give them outlines for how frequently to meet and what the topics need to include. But it includes, you know, going over your CV and making a list of positions that you might be targeting or developing a job search strategy. Maybe it includes them connecting you to their professional contacts if you impress them. Okay. It's not a given. You have to really impress them to get the contacts. And it could include a lot of things. For this one specifically, I know that it included CV preparation, interview preparation for phone calls, interview preparation for face-to-face meeting, interview preparation for the team lead. And then it also, this professional She wound up being an HR professional anyway. So then she provided her with advice on her contract, what benefits she should be getting, and what her personal value is in the market. Okay, those are also things that you should research during this process. Is what is your salary range? What benefits are you looking for? Those kinds of things. That's what it included. 10 hours is a lot of time. It's a lot of time. This mentor is also amazing. So that was that specific process, but there are also mentor relationships that maybe the ole or the ola needs less. You need less support. Okay. So it can look very different. 10 hours would not be the average expectation. Okay. She also mentored somebody else and she mentored them for like 2 hours and she also found a job. And it was the same kind of process, but she was further along in her job search. If you have a job offer, okay, right? You have like the contract in your, I mean, it won't be in your hand, it'll be in your email, but in your hands figuratively. Before you sign anything, you should send it to our placement team for review, okay, to make sure that everything is good. Contracts are pretty standard, but to make sure that your salary is good, that your benefits are good, things like that, that's an additional service that we provide, okay? How do mentors support Olim in the job search, okay? I don't know if any of you, maybe in your previous professional experience, were mentors through your work. A lot of companies, especially large high-tech companies, have internal mentor programs for more senior professionals to more junior professionals to kind of strengthen the company culture. But these would be similar things if you're familiar with that. In any case, the expectations for Gvahim mentors are, as I've said before, that they really consist of six different areas. One is market mapping. So understanding the job landscape, giving you tools to understand that, maybe helping you navigate some of those. Once you've done the homework of then researching what your mentor says, okay, like company X, Y, and Z might be relevant for you. Go look on their LinkedIn, see what the relevant connected companies are, because it gives you recommendations based on your interest. See if they're hiring and then come back to me. Okay, right? That's one of the things that they can do. Industry knowledge. So they can look at your CV and look at your experience and let you know kind of where you would be standing in the market, what your challenges might be, if you have any gaps in the information that you know, or you need to do any upskilling. That's something that they can also help with. They can also let you know if there's a skill that is very obvious that maybe doesn't need to be on your CV. So like anyone who has Microsoft 365 on their CV should be taking it off because that's a industry standard, okay? There's nothing special about knowing Microsoft applications within 365 anymore. Okay. For instance, if you still had that there, so that would give you more space on your CV to highlight something else within your skill set. Okay. Job search strategy. So we've spoken about this. So they could help you identify people or companies that you should be reaching out to and then get you connected or let you know how best to submit your CV or whatever it might be. There are mentors who really dedicate this. Sometimes job search strategy and market mapping go together. Okay, a lot of times they do. They might do interview simulations with you. So if you're about to have a phone interview with HR, they could very much let you know what that phone call would look like and have you prepare for a simulation with them, maybe send a couple of standard questions and then kind of navigate that with you. Okay, so it's not like absolutely shocking when it happens. Expanding your network, okay? So here, this is where I talk about, like previously, I'm connecting it to being available. In order to have mentors open their contacts to you, which are their personal contacts, they're not obligated to give those to you, okay? It's a nice to have. But if you would like those to be available to you, that means that you need to show up in a professional manner. You need to not be late. You need to be on top of your communication with them. I would recommend you take notes, you follow up with them. It's very much you being proactive. And then this can happen because it also speaks to the level of your dedication and professionalism. Okay. If you can't manage your job search well, it's going to be very difficult once you find a new position to then manage that well. Okay. I know that there's a lot going on, but it's just the way it is. So they can help connect you with new contacts. In terms of bridging cultural gaps, a lot of our mentors, as I said, a lot of our mentors are actually Olim. Okay. Not all of them, but some of them. Or they made Aliyah as kids and they can understand what it looks like to go through the process of coming here as an immigrant, okay, because their parents went through it and they went through it as a child to immigrants. And they can help you understand different cultural gaps, okay? I can tell you, I've been here for 8 years. I'm married to an Israeli. A lot of my friends are Israeli. I still have cultural gaps. It doesn't ever 100% go away. You can just kind of diminish it, but it's very evident in the job search process. And if you don't have somebody who's kind of reflecting what's going on in the market and what the standard is, or why there was a response this way or why there was a response that way, sometimes it can create unnecessary stress that just by fixing a couple of very minor things, you can overcome. Okay. So we're gonna get down to like the tachlis, like to the point here, a typical mentor-mentee journey. So your job search could be between 6 and 8 months. It could be a little bit longer. It could be a little bit less. I'm really hoping it's less, okay? But I'm speaking from the moment you start actively looking. Let's say you start a relationship with your mentor, your connection with them, depending on where you are and where you're targeting things, what positions you're targeting, if you're targeting them correctly, and so on. It could be 6 months, the relationship that you have for this mentorship process. It could be 3 months. It depends on how quickly you move through and successfully find a job. Okay. But the relationship is typically until you secure a role. Okay. As I've said, you are expected to be proactive in your communication. So they're not going to come chasing after you. If it kind of fades off because you stop being in touch with them, that's also your responsibility. It's okay. Sometimes it happens, but they're really there to be a resource for you. So even if it's like 3 weeks and they haven't heard from you, you can even message them and just say, hey, I'm going through a really hard time. These 3 things happened within my job search. I'm feeling kind of down. Do you have 15 minutes to talk about it? Okay. Sometimes communication falls off and that's okay, but it's your job to get it back on. Right. Mentors typically meet with their mentees at least every 2 minutes for 30 minutes for updates and for things like that. It could be that your first meeting, which is really about setting expectations and framing your mentorship relationship in terms of what form of communication are you going to use? How frequently are you going to meet? When are you going to give updates? That first meeting could be longer or simulation could be longer, but this is just a generalization.
If things don't pan out and can you switch mentors, or once you've selected a mentor, that's it?
No, you can switch mentors. I mean, I wouldn't switch mentors more than once, but you should research who you're interested in working with and maybe have 2 or 3 options. Reach out to the one that you're most interested in working in first, and then reach out to the second one.
Yeah.
That's a very good question. Also, you're entitled to one mentor, okay? So if something happens and it's like it's not a good fit, that happens, and we move on, and I help you. Or it could be that you both agree it's not a good fit. That happens. But if you're looking to have 2 mentors, we don't do that because it's a very time-intensive process. And we want to make sure that every Ole or Ola can have the support that they need. What you can do instead is if the first person on your list says yes, you can then go with the other 2 individuals and ask them for a one-on-one meeting. That's a one-time meeting just to get their input. And you might decide that you want to do that later. That would be a good way to use that networking opportunity. So the format we spoke about in the first meeting, you typically have like a kind of like a mentorship agreement that you create. So you'll decide if they're virtual or face-to-face meetings, the frequency, the form of communication, all of those kinds of things. I do ask that you update me when you and your mentor connect, and just keep me in the loop if there's any sort of challenge or if things are going really well. I would love to be updated when things are going really well, okay? Because typically it's just like anything else. If there are issues, you hear about it. If it's going well, everyone's like, okay, it's great. We don't need to update. So feel free to be in touch with me. I will say at least one in-person meeting is very much recommended. It can make a difference. Okay. I know that that sounds silly, but most people are tired of having meetings online. Okay. And it's fun to meet face to face and, actually be able to see each other and understand, the other person on a different level, even if your mentor lives 45 minutes away. Okay. Which I think for most countries that we're all coming from is really not a big deal. It's just this Israeli mentality of, oh my gosh, it's 45 minutes. How am I going to do it? Okay, but it's one time. It's one time, and it could be that you all have so much fun and that it's so nice to see each other that you decide to do it again. Okay, it doesn't have to be every meeting. I'm going to make this slide very brief because I sent you the expectations. Having a successful mentor-mentee relationship. I've said, be proactive. So it's your job to ask questions, get feedback, share your ideas. If something is working, let them know. If something isn't working, that's equally important because you could just be missing something in how you're presenting yourself or your CV. So make sure you're sharing that, not just your wins. Okay? It's easy to share wins. Goal setting and follow through. So you need to make sure that you're setting goals for yourself. It could be something as simple as I'm going to reach out to these 3 contacts that I'm interested in making. Okay? But you need to be able to follow up on the action because your goal is very clear. You have the position that you're seeking and the type of company, and you want to land your job. Okay? So every action that you take will get you closer to that. Sometimes you're going to hear things that you don't want to hear in the mentor-mentee process. It's when I was being mentored in the past, it happened to me. And it's equally as important to get the feedback that they're seeing of, oh, well, maybe you're searching for the wrong thing, or maybe you're presenting yourself incorrectly, because they're seeing something that you're not seeing. This is just like if you draft an email and there are gaps in what you're trying to say in terms of communication. It's the same thing with the job search. They're there to help you improve how you're going about this entire process. And they're also very seasoned professionals. So I would take it, I wouldn't take it to heart. I would take it professionally and then implement it because ultimately it'll help you in the long run. And with that, you need to be committed to self-development. So the fact that you all are here for this session is great, okay? But you need to stay on top of like upskilling or staying updated on industry trends, anything like that. That's your responsibility. And it's important because the job search can be a couple of months. It's very important that you enter that into your weekly schedule to integrate it. Okay. We spoke about transparency. Yeah. Just let them know if you need any challenges or if your communication falls off. Sometimes you can feel bad about that. You don't need to feel bad about it. You can clarify and then you can just make sure it doesn't happen again so they know you're serious. It's really okay. Life happens. Okay. What to do if a mentor doesn't respond? It's very simple. Hi, I'm support. I'm Danielle. If your mentor that you're interested in doesn't respond within 2 to 3 business days, reach out to me. My email is in the chat, and I will call them. It's not that they're uninterested or something. It's that they have a lot of other things going on and they missed the message. And if they're unavailable, I'll update you. Okay. Now, demoing the platform. This is the Gvahim network. If you are not familiar with it, you need to create an account. The directory allows you to filter for one-on-one support, okay? Once you have completed your HR consultations, this one-on-one support function should be available. If it is not available, you need to let me know. It's very simple. You need to let me know. Also, the title on the Gvahim network should say job seeker. So if you are looking, you're not offering support, you're seeking support. So if you're looking for a mentor, you would seek support mentoring a new participant. One-on-one support, find a mentor. So you could go here and say find your own mentor. You'll see that there are 288 active mentors. So these 264 mentors are available to assist you in your job search. If I know that I'm interested in marketing, I can look and I can narrow it down. The more specific, it's just like anything else. The more specific I am, the more specific the resource. I'm purposefully going very broad, okay? So here I can see all of the mentors that I might be able to reach out to. So if I'm in product, I would go to Guy. Guy is offering to mentor a new participant. Okay, if this isn't working, you can also let me know. But the first thing to do would be to go to message. And I write my pitch here and I ask him for a meeting. Okay, it's very straightforward. So Daniel, he's all about LinkedIn. Okay, he has his own business. He's all about networking on LinkedIn, and he has his own LinkedIn consultation firm. Okay, so if I think that Daniel could be a good fit for me, first I would research his LinkedIn. Okay, to actually make sure that it's a good fit. Then I would go to request support, choose supportive option, mentoring a new participant, and send my message here. Whatever it is, send and he'll get it, and then he'll be able to respond. He'll get a email notification that it's available for him, okay? You also have here his email. I would not reach out to somebody via their phone number. I would do an email, and then if they don't answer, let me know, okay? Once everything is set up, you have somebody who's agreed to be your mentor. You should update me. Also update them once you've found a job. Our system, we have a way of updating it where you'll get notifications like reminders for meetings and things like that, which is why I also ask you to update me. And like I said, if you have issues finding a mentor, that you should also update me about after you've reached out to them. So once you've found a job, which we hope that all of you find a job very soon, you should share your success with, you can share it with me and also with your mentor, okay? It's a reason to celebrate. We need reasons to celebrate these days. So it's important that you reach out and share with the people who've invested in your success and share the news with them. So if this was a mentor, if this was that you also connected with somebody for a coffee meeting from your field, those are all people that you should update, okay? Just so you know, and then you can even say, thank you so much for your insight. I implemented it this way and it was very helpful. Because your job search now only builds on future job searches, okay? So all of the work you do today will help you, 2, 3, 4 years down the road, okay? And it's your reputation. You could also do a LinkedIn post for them. That's, they're volunteering. That's a very nice way for them to see. Okay. So if you have any questions or encounter any challenges connecting with mentors, you can reach out to me. This is my email here. Are there any other questions?
So
Hi.
I just like to summarize, because as far as I understand, this is totally not like a LinkedIn network, right? You don't have a bunch of connections like 500 of people who sometimes are not really relevant to a job search, but you have one mentor, and then if you who guides you through the process and helps you in job search, and then sometimes if you are kind of targeting at a specific company,
Yeah.
you can address to people who work in those companies, and they would be your buddies, right? Is that correct?
Okay, this is a very good question. So the difference between LinkedIn and the Gvahim network is that all 4,000 people that are there, they're not all relevant. Okay, like for you and the specific positions you're targeting, they're not all going to be relevant. But you have no barriers in terms of first connection, second connection, third. Everyone is available for you to connect with. The priority for me would be finding a mentor if that's something that I'm serious about, and I believe it would be a resource for me. If you feel like it's not for you, start your job search without one. And then you'll run into issues probably. When you run into issues, then look for a mentor because you'll have, what to talk about. I think having a mentor prior to is the most proactive approach. So the mentor is there in addition to the other individuals who you could reach out to who could provide you with a referral or with guidance, okay? So it's not this and this. It's if you want a connection that is specifically an Ole or an Ola who's been here for at least 7 years from your field, reach out to a buddy. If you want a professional to guide you through your job search one-on-one from your professional field, you need to look for a mentor, which is a filter. And if you're looking for a referral for a specific company, go to the directory, look up the name of the company, like Payoneer, you'll get like 1,000, you'll get like 10 or 15 results for Payoneer. Reach out to them and request a meeting with a specific request of the position you're applying for, your CV, and so on. And those are kind of the main functions. We also provide, you'll have a session with Denise, who's the community manager, but we also provide updates about our community there. So it's a little bit more complex than that, but it's not as limited as LinkedIn in terms of like barriers for communication, because we don't want that. If you need to talk with somebody who you're considering 2 different fields, you want to do 2 one-time coffee meetings for like, I don't know, you have a technical background, you're considering being a technical product manager, continuing as a software engineer, we want you to be able to explore both of those options and then decide, okay? Because you know yourself better than we do. It could be that you decide something for one period of time and then you go back to what you already know, but we want you to be able to use the resources that are available to you. Natalia.
Yeah, I have a question. So you gave us a link at Gvahim network, and you said that I can apply there right now after the lecture. I can.
Yeah.
But this 101 thing with mentors is open when I have my HR consultation.
Yeah.
Or is it 2 different networks?
No. It'll become available once you've completed your HR consultations.
Okay. So
Yeah.
network, I
Join the Gvahim network. Go ahead and join it and just, spend 10 to 15 minutes navigating it. You should 1000% be there. And then once you've completed your HR consultations, then look for your mentor. Alexei.
Yes. How much time does it usually take to find a mentor overall?
I think it depends on how dedicated you are to it. If you reach out to a mentor and they get back to you like within the next day, it could take 1 day, it could take a week or 2 weeks, depending on your availability and the mentor's availability. Okay? All right, best of luck. As I always like to say, I hope I don't see you again because that means you found a job.